ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्दा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्दा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थे सुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। We are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 60, verse number 10. So in the previous verses we read that Sri Krishna, he was in his palace with Srimati Rukmani Devi and he was sitting on his paryanka, on his cot, on his bed, and she was fanning him. There were other assistants along with Rukmani. It was evening time, peaceful, therefore no anxiety of doing anything. The day is over, the daily responsibilities taken care. Maybe they already had their dinner and they're relaxing. So at that time, Krishna, he wanted to have some little fun. Because family life sometimes becomes very monotonous and boring. Every day same thing, same thing. So some variety. So he thought of this plan. And that is what is being described here. So in the previous verse we saw that Rukmaniji was there. She is very beautiful, matching with the beauty of Krishna. As he says, Līlaya dhrittanoran rupa rupa. She was smiling. Krishna was also smiling. She had a lot of ornaments, Nishkakantha. So, Vaktra ullasita smita sudham harira abhabhase. And Krishna spoke to her, who had a very beautiful smile, because she is happy being with Krishna. So he spoke to her as follows. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Rajaputri Pshita Bhupair Lokapala Vibhuti Bhi Mahanubhavahi Śrīmad-Bhi Rupa Darya Balorjitaihi Tan Praptan Arthino Hitva Chadyadin Smaradurmadan Datta Bhratra Svapitra Cha Kasman No Vabrishaya Saman. So he posed a question to her, and it is very important to learn how to ask question. Question must be clear, to the point. So you will see how Krishna is asking question. So he said, "Hey Rajaputri," that daughter of a king, princess, you were desired by many kings, Ipsita, Bhupir, and not some ordinary kings, but even Lokapala Vibhuti, who were opulent like the Lokpalas. There are Lokpalas in the different directions, also called Dikpalas. So they were all very opulent, Mahanubhavi, very experienced people. And Śrīmad-Bhi, they had beauty, power, Rupa Adarya Balorjitai, and they were having Rupa, Adarya, generosity, power, strength, all these things, they were endowed with all these properties. And Tan Praptan Arthino Hitva, and they all wanted you to have their wife. So why is that you chose me, who is not equal to you? Vavrise asaman na kasmat, why? When you are actually desired by people like Shishupal, who are Smaradurmadan, they were intoxicated by love, and your brother also wanted to give. In fact, you are betrothed to him, and your father was also willing to marry you to Shishupal. So why is that you chose me when I am not a match for you? So kasmat no vabrishe asaman. So I am not sama, equal to you. So this is a question which he raises here. So Sri Vishnu Chakrati comments, Atrayam Bhagavato Agrim Vak Pradrishtya Bhavo Adhigamyate. So he says that seeing what he will speak later on, this is his intention in speaking this. So he is trying to study the mind. It's very important to understand the mind of other people, and that is understood by their words, by their expressions, movements, actions, right? So therefore he says, Atrayam Bhagavato Agrim Vak Pradrishtya. Here there is no action involved, only his words are there. So he says that studying the words of Sri Krishna, what he is going to speak further down, this is what I think he has his intention. This is the intention behind his words. Because words have intention, right? And sometimes they create tension. As we will see here, a lot of tension will be created by his words. And he is doing it knowingly. He knows that this is going to cause tension. So what is his feeling? He feels like this. Ekenaiva dyutaru kusumena asyai dattena satyabhama tadrishman kopa rasa varshini abhut. So he is referring to a past incident when Narada Rishi had come once and he was descending from Indraloka and he had one parijata flower with him which he brought from there. Like if you come from a foreign country and you bring some gifts from there. So he was also coming from a foreign country, Indraloka. So he had a nice gift, parijata flower, and he gave it to Krishna. And Krishna gave it to Rukmani. And when Satyabhama came to know, she freaked out. And not little bit, but she became Manini. She became completely upset. Just because of one flower. Dyutaru kusumena asya dattena satyabhama tadrish manakopa rasvarshini abhut. But Krishna says that, or Sri Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says that she brought a heavy rain of nectar of her love anger. And this was very pleasing to Krishna. So this was also rasa, man kopa rasa. And so much so that says maya pada patanadi bhirapi upshamaitum ashakya. That I tried to console her and I went up to the extent of falling at her feet, that don't be upset. But she was not pacified. Just because of one flower. So her family life is not easy. Just remember this. You should know all these things. Because if the wife is upset, then she is upset, that's all. Then you can't go on telling your stories and doing this, doing that. She is just upset. And there is no logic which can work. So Krishna, I tried, and now you understand Krishna who has all the best speech, logic, thoughts, the psychology. He tried everything, nothing. Finally he fell at her feet also. Trunadapi sunuchena tarori vasena amanina manadena. Everything. Says she was not pacified. So dattena tad vrikshena prasadita. She was pacified only when Krishna gave her the whole tree. So he has to go to Indraloka and uproot the tree and had a fight and everything. Then only she was happy. So this is Satyabhama, and in contrast there is Srimati Rukmani, who is cool like a cucumber. So Iyam Rukmani tu tad vriksha dana darshnena api na kopam vyanjamase. So he says, I gave the whole tree to Satyabhama, and Rukmani did not even lift her eyebrow, becoming upset. How? She did not do anything like that. She remained peaceful. So, na kopam benjama, she did not express her anger. Tadasya asambhavit manayaha param gambhirayaha priyam vadayaha roshoktir madhvikam katham aham labheya iti. So he is thinking that how can I taste the nectar of her anger? who is always giving all the sweet speech. She is very grave and she cannot go into the man, asambhavita manaya. It is not possible to put her into man, that she becomes self-conceited, upset. That is impossible. But I want to see her face in an angry mood. So he is so fortunate that the wife is not getting upset. But this is how life is, you are not satisfied with whatever you have. If the wife is peaceful, you are not satisfied. If she is upset, you are not satisfied. So mind is like that. So somebody would be happy that the wife is very peaceful, always smiling, doing everything you want. So he's not happy. So he says, Roshokti madhvikam katham labhe. That's why it is difficult to understand love. So aheriva gatim premana. So the movements of love are like the snake movement. Not easy to understand. So this is what Krishna is thinking. Iti vimrishya kaluyam uktireva asyaha kopam utpadishyati iti nischayshid. So here it was nirchayshid. Bhagavan iti kechidahu. So thinking like this, Krishna thought that only the statements which he speaks here, this is going to make her upset. And he ascertained this in his mind and then he spoke. So this is the explanation given by somebody. He says, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Iti kechidahu. Because people have to give explanation. Why is that he was speaking like this? What made him perform this kind of act? So this is one explanation. Then he gives one more. Anyatu nayakena prema vrikshasya unmulane krite sati premavati nayika kidrishi bhavet iti didriksha eva bhagavata ashit iti tattvam iti ahu. So other people, they say that Krishna wanted to see that if the hero, he uproots the tree of love, then how does the heroine act? How does she react? That you just completely uproot the tree of love. Means you should marry somebody else. That is what is uprooting. He is going to tell her that I'm not a match for you. You should find some other husband. This is uprooting the tree, breaking the relationship. So he says that Krishna wanted to see this, what happens if I do this. And therefore he spoke like this. So now he is giving the meaning to the sloka. He says, Priye, says, my beloved, Tvam atmanah param buddhi matvam manyase. So Krishna is saying that you consider yourself to be supremely intelligent. Right? Everybody thinks like that there is nobody who is more intelligent than me. Right? So he says, you think that you are supremely intelligent, but actually not. Because generally speaking, most people have overestimation of themselves. In modern psychology, they have a name for it, some Kruger effect or something like that. That you overestimate your own qualities. So he's saying same thing to her, that param buddhi matvam manyase vastutastu sarmpurna sarva sadgunya vatyapi swarthan abhigyayasta buddhireva eka ati alpiyasi bhavati. But he says that it is true that you have all good qualities. You are beautiful, you are well behaved, you are educated, you know how to deal with people, you're a good cook, you know how to communicate, all these things you know, but there's one thing which is missing in you, and that is intelligence. Buddhireveka alpiyasi. Not that it is completely missing, but it is very low. The what you call intelligent quotient, like they have IQ, says that is not great. So, but why is that? What makes him think like that? Because if you say something, then there must be some basis for that, not that you just throw some statement. So, why is he saying? He says, because you do not know what is good for you. Swartha anabhigyaya. Swartha means what is good for your own, what is beneficial for you. You don't know that. You are completely ignorant. Anabhigya means ignorant about your own welfare. And that is only possible if your intelligence is not very high. So it may be good in other fields, but when it comes to your own welfare, your own goodness, then it is not. So why do you say that? What is that mistake I have made? So he says, here it is. Katham. So iti chet shruyatam, please listen to me. And then he speaks 11 slokas to prove his point. Because it is very difficult to prove to somebody that they are not intelligent. It's very easy to prove to anybody how smart you are, right? But to prove to someone that you are not smart, that's a tough job. So therefore, he is working hard for that. And that also to prove to your own wife, that's impossible. You should not even try that actually. Only Krishna can try that. So he says, He Rajaputri iti. So then he speaks this sloka, that why did you reject? He says, Tvam Ragya Putri. So first of all, you are the daughter of a king. And who am I? I'm not son of a king. His father was not a king. Vasudeva was not king. And Nanda Maharaj, okay, you can say he's king of the cows. So, aham tu vasudevasya akinchanasya putro ataha kasmad asman asaman na vavrushe. There is another big mistake here. So, it is not asmat, and I was thinking, how is this kasmat asmat came here? It is asaman mam vavrishe vritvati asi. So he says, I am son of Vasudeva. And who is Vasudeva? He says he is akinchana. He is nothing. Forget about being a king. He doesn't have a house. He was in the prison. Everything was taken away from him. So why is that you have selected me? Because this is not intelligent. Anybody who wants to marry, a girl wants to marry, they want to see first that there is some financial stability. In India, when they arranged marriages, this is one of the things, which the father sees that the person who will be husband of my daughter, so must be well situated financially, education, beauty, health. So he says the very first point, artha, because artha is most important, right? If you don't have artha, your life is vyartha. Vyartha means without artha, meaningless. Artha means wealth, artha means also meaning, worth. So vyartha means worthless. So he says, my father doesn't have, so I did not get anything from my parents, no land. And there are cows. If I go to Braj, I have plenty of cows, but I am here. So why did you choose me? And savisheshnasya bahutvam arsham. So there is an important observation which he makes here. So this na is in plural and Krishna is singular. He should say aham or mam, but he is saying na, which is in plural. So why is he using plural for singular? So there is a rule that in Sanskrit you can use plural for singular out of respect. Pujya vachibhyastu adaradhikya. But is he respecting himself by using? So no, asmadastu agarve api. But for yourself you can use plural, and that does not mean that it means you are great or anything like that. But then there is a rule that if you use plural for yourself, then there should not be a qualifier along with it. So savisheshnatvetu na, that if you have a qualifier along with yourself, vayam, then you cannot use plural. But here Krishna is saying na, and he is having so many qualifiers that I am a kinchana, I am this, I am that. So how is that this has been used? So he says that this is arsha prayoga. This is an exception. So there are some exceptions to this rule basically, that's the point. Nacha gati antara bhavatvam aham vritvati asmi. So Rukmani says, if Rukmani says that I had no other choice, so karti kya na, marti kya na karti, right? Say like that. If you don't have any other choice, then marry him only. There is no one else who is ready. So that's not the case with you. He says, Nripai Ripshita asi. So many kings, Bhupai Ripshita. So Rajaputri, he explained that, the meaning why he is explaining every word. And Bhupai Lokapala Vibhuti Ipsita. So it is not that there was no one else who was ready to marry you. There are many people who wanted to marry you. So why did you choose? And then they say that, okay, you can say that, yes, there were many people who wanted to marry, but those people, they were not very opulent. So he says, Nachate bhupa matto vibhuti rup gunadi bhir nyuna. So it is not that they were less than me in power, wealth, strength, beauty, etc. So that's what he says, all this word, Bhupair lokapal vibhuti bhi mahanubhavai Śrīmad bhi rupadarya balorjitai. So they were all highly qualified people, great, chivalrous people, educated. So there was no need for you to marry me. There was no emergency. So ityaha lokapala vibhuti bhiriti Śrīmad bhiriti natu ranti devadyairiva dhan samriddhi bhog rahitairiva. So it's not that they were king, but they did not have any wealth like King Rantidev. So Rantidev was a king, but he gave everything in charity. He didn't even have food for himself. So these kings are not like that. Nachate tadanim dure sthita ityahe praptan. Then he said that Well, I did not marry them because they were too far away. I mean, if somebody is too far away, who wants to marry? Traveling in the olden days, going by the chariot, your whole body will, shake, all the bones, because the chariots did not have shock absorbers and there were no nice roads, so there will be bump. You're jumping up and down in the chariot. Have you ever sat in a chariot? Right? You shake everything. Or if you ever sat on a camel, go up, down. Even horse ride. So, therefore he says that they are not too far away. So then the verse itself says tan praptan. So he's trying to explain the different words in the sloka. And they themselves came there. Everybody knows that they had come. Nacha bandhunam tatra sammattirityaha. And also you cannot say that your family members who did not agree that okay, they were kings, princes, rich people, beautiful, educated. They were also not too far away, but our family people did not want to marry me. So it's just the other way around. So bhratra pitrapi datta vagdatta va ityartha. Dattavati ityartha. So he says your brother wanted that you get married. Actually father did not want. Remember that he was not in favor, but because Rukmi was too overpowering, so he agreed. So anyway, from Krishna's point of view, the family members were in favor of marrying Rukmani to Shishupal. Rajabho bhibyatah subhru samudram sharanam gatan balavadbhi kritadveshan prayastakta nirpashanan. So now he is describing his own situation. That what is my own situation in comparison to these other kings. That I am afraid of kings and therefore I am hiding in the midst of the ocean. Right? Like that city in Italy, Venice. So why they built it? Because these people, Scandinavian, what were they called? Vikings. Vikings or Viking?
They call it
Viking. And they said, we are the kings, we kings. So they're afraid, the Italians were afraid of the Vikings, so they went inside. They vanished in Venice. So Krishna was also vanishing inside Dwarka. So therefore he says that Rajabho bhibyata subhru samudram sharanam gatan. He says, I have no other shelter except the ocean. Anywhere else, if I am on the land, these people will come and trouble me. They will attack me. So I have come here too far away because you have to cross the desert and reach there. Who will come there? And what is the point? What do you gain? Okay, you got some fish. There is nothing else there. So that is my situation. And I have very powerful enemies. Balvadbhi krita dveshan. I have enemies. And the enemies are very powerful. Jarasandha, how many times he came with a big army to attack. And prayas tyakta nirpashanan. And we have given up the post or the throne of king. Means I am not a king. Tyakta nirpasanam. Kincha kshatriya jate mama bhirutva lakshanam mahadosham apitvam nadrakshit. Ityaha Rajashati. So he is continuing to show how Rukmani Devi is not very intelligent. He says that you did not even see that I have such big defect, that although I am born in Kshatriya family, but I am completely scared. Kshatriyas, they are ready to fight, but I am hiding here. Right? Yuddhe chapya palayanam. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that the basic characteristic of Kshatriya is Yuddhe chapya palayanam. That not running away from the battlefield. He was preaching to Arjuna also. But he himself is hiding. So he says, how is that you could not see this? And he wrote a letter to me. So this is what he is explaining. Saha rajabhyeti nacha bhitatve api mama shishtatvam astityaha balvadbhi. And then although I am afraid of them, still I am not shishta. It's not that I am some gentle person. Okay, I am afraid, but I have made a lot of people my enemies. Means I have behaved in a way, I killed Kamsa. So I have so many enemies. So I am not that I am just straightforward guy. I killed my maternal uncle. So therefore he says I am not a shishta. Shishta means very ethical, moral, disciplined. He says no, I am not. Even in Braja he says my mother was sick of me. And all the Brajvasis, they came to complain against me all the time. Because I was always doing something. My shenanigans are still sung there. So he says, I made enemies, and enemies also not with just ordinary people, but people who are very powerful. Which means that you will also be in trouble because of that. Prayagrahanat dvitra eva arjunadibhir maitriyam natu bahibhi. So he uses the word praya there. Praya balvadbhi krita dveshan. So praya means more or less with everybody. He says, I only got 2-3 friends like Arjuna, Bhima. I don't have too many friends. Balaram is there. But even he sometimes drops me. Even he got sick of me. Samantak Mani. So therefore, I don't understand how is that you chose me. What happened to your intelligence? So, kincha yadavatvat nyayato rajatva bhave api kansvadhat yat praptam rajatvam tadapi ugra sena dattva tyaktam ityaha. And then he is using the word tyakta nirpasanan, means one who has abandoned the throne of king. So he explains that there are two sense behind this word. One is that we are actually not qualified to become king. Why? Because we are Yadavas. So Yadava, what is the problem with Yadava? So Yadavas were cursed by Yayati that you will never become king. Because Yayati, he became old, being cursed by Shukracharya. We read that story in 9th canto. And then he was given the facility that he could ask any one of his sons to exchange his old age with the youth. So he went to all of them. So one of his sons was Yadu. And Yadu flatly refused. Says nothing doing. So then when he refused, then Yayati cursed him that you and your descendants will never become king. So he says, I am a Yadava, therefore, first of all, there is no possibility of me becoming king. Second is that I did get the chance to become king when I killed Kamsa. So Kamsa vadhat rajatva bhave piyat praptam. I got but I gave that to Ugrasena. So therefore tyakt nripasa. So therefore he says, I am not qualified to be your husband. Aspashta vartmanam pumsham aloka pathamyusham astitha padvim subhru praya siddhanti yoshitaha. Now he speaks a little more in general principle and giving his own example. So he says, Aspashta vartmanam pumsham. He says, a woman, a girl should not marry a boy, a man, about whom it is not clear where does he stand, what is he doing in his life. Aspashta vartmanam. Vartma means path, spashta means not clear. Means you don't know whether he is actually doing a job or is he doing business. What is he doing? So he says, I am like that. Am I a cowherd boy? Am I tending cows or I am a kshatriya? It's not clear about me, about my life. So he says, Aspashta vartmanam pumsham aloka patham yusham. And my activities are not very much appreciated. So he says, woman should not marry a man like me. So he is giving good advice, because these days a lot of problems, girls marrying boys not knowing what they are up to, and then later on problem comes. So you should be very clear beforehand, before you decide to marry. So if you marry a person like me, who is about whom it is not clear, source of income is not clear, the behavior is not very clear, what is the plan for life is not very clear. So if you marry somebody like this, it says siddhanti yoshita, then later on you have to be in grief. You will feel dejected. You have to lament that why did I marry this man? Then you have to run to court, file divorce papers. So that's a headache. So why put your foot in the mud and then clean it? Better to avoid. So why fall into the trouble? So aspashta vartmanam kadachit paradar grahanena kadachit vedika acharavatvena cha vayam adharmika dharmika va iti aspashta vartmanam. So he says it is not very clear about me whether I am a dharmic person or I am not a dharmic person. Vayam adharmika dharmika va. Because sometimes I am running after others' wives. Pardar, right? Even who King Parikshit was saying, Pardara Vimarshana. So Pratipam Acharat Brahman Pardara Vimarsanam. Why did Krishna do this? Playing with others' wives. He is the Dharma Setu, Kartar Vakta Abhirakshita. He is the speaker of Dharma, protector of Dharma, propagator of Dharma. Why did he behave in such an immoral manner? So he says it's not very clear about me whether I am a theist or I am an atheist. Do I actually believe in the Vedas, Vedic principles? If I believe in Vedic principles, how is that I was dancing with others' wives? That's against Veda, right? Pardaran na bhigachet. This is the statement of the Vedas. Don't have relationship with others' wives. It's a big sin. Manu is totally against it. So therefore he says, this is my situation. And bharyaya api agritas tad bhratur avmanatvat na lokapatham api. And even in the world, I don't act very nicely. He says, look, when I kidnapped you and your brother came attacking me, what did I do? I insulted him. I cut his hair, shaved him, but not properly. So even people will not say that he is following good behavior. So he says, Lokpatam api iyusham asmad vidjananam padvimastita dharmika anu shrita siddhanti praya. So those people who are well behaved, who are pious, religious, if they follow me, then they are only inviting trouble. Because their behavior, their mood, their wishes, their desires, their activities are not going to match with my mood. Because about me, if you follow dharma, then your behavior is predictable. Right? Because you know, well, this person will not tell lies, he will not steal, he will not kill somebody unnecessarily, because he is a dharmic person. But one who is not a dharmic person, what can you say? What can he can do anything. He is not guided by any principles. So he says, I am like that. Krishna is very unpredictable. So he says, if you follow me, if you marry me, then you will be also lost. So prayagranat kaschit yanna siddhanti tasam eva guna iti bhava. So here also the word praya has been used as in the previous sloka, that praya siddhanti yoshitaha asthitaha padvim subhru praya siddhanti yoshitaha. That any girl or any women who marry men like me, then generally speaking, they will be in trouble. They will be in grief, they will lament. So why is saying praya? So he says, maybe some of them will not be in grief. And that will be because of their own good quality, not because of something good in me or people like me. He says, because they may have some nice character and they are very tolerant and very stable. Bhajanti sumadhyami. So one more thing, I am a pauper. Those people who do not have any, right, birds of the same feather flock together. And this question was asked by Parikshit Maharaj also later on. He says, how is that people who worship Shiva, who has nothing, they are rich, and people who worship Vishnu, they are always poor. So he says that Saswat Niskincha Janapriya. He says, I am always dear to poor people. Niskinchana literally means poor. And he says the rich people, they never worship me. Tasmat prayane nahi adhya mam bhajanti sumadhyami. Again, praya, in every sloka he is using the word praya. That there may be some exceptions, but say generally speaking, rich people don't worship me. Because why should they worship me? Rich people want wealth, and I am poor guy. I don't have any kingdom, don't have any big treasury, nothing. So Kunti Devi also says this, Janmashriya Shruti Sri Bhedamana Madapaman Naivarati Abhidhatum Vai Tvam Akinchan Gochara. She also says that you are akinchana gochara, that you are seen only by a person who is akinchana, means who is not attached to anything material. So that is being, the word akinchana is used in that sense. Kinchana means something. Akinchana means not even little. Kinchana means little bit. And akinchana means not even little bit. So one akinchana means one who does not have anything. Is akinchana. So means who does not have any material attachments, because Krishna cannot be worshipped if you are materially attached. Vishyavischittasya Krishna bhakti sudurata varuni diggatam vastu katham endriyam avapnuyat. So if your chitta, your heart is attached to Vishaya, material things, then Krishna bhakti is far, far away from you. So that's why he is called Akinchana Gochara. And therefore, Janma Ashriya Shruti Srivir Edamana Madhapuman Naiv Arhati Abhidhatam. That if you are proud of your birth, your wealth, your beauty, then you cannot even chant the name of Krishna. So that's why he says Niskinchana. So Niskinchana iti vastu matre api asakti abhavat iti bhava. So although literally the word Niskinchana means one who is absolutely pauper, but it actually means one who does not have any attachment in anything material, vastu matra, not in absolute zero attachment. And in the present context, he is contrasting himself to her. That's why he called her Rajaputri. That you are Rajaputri means you have everything. And I am absolutely moneyless, I have no power, wealth, etc. So therefore, I am not a match for you. So in this way, he is trying to prove to Rukmani Devi that how she has not made an intelligent decision, and it's not too late. You can still change your mind. So that's, he will continue to speak. We'll read that tomorrow if there is any question in this. Okay, Mohini.
I did not understand the timeline of the Parijat tree. Yesterday you said that from the Kshirosagar mountain, the tree or Parijat tree came out, and this was given to Satyabhama. But then there is also this other story that Krishna got the tree from Indraloka.
No, I did not say that it was given to Satyabhama. I said that it was with Indra. And Krishna went and fought and brought it from there.
Also, Indra received the tree which came out from the Kshirosagar.
Yes. Okay, anything else? All right.